Chapter 4. Neuroscientific Underpinnings of Hypnosis. What does science have to say about the process? Hypnosis, or hypnotherapy, remains a somewhat misunderstood concept from a neuroscientific perspective due to its complexity and the fact that our understanding of the brain is still evolving. However, modern neuroimaging technologies such as functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and electroencephalography, EEG, have begun to shed light on the neurological underpinnings of hypnosis. It's important to note that while the mechanisms aren't fully understood, we have some insights into how hypnosis might work from a neurological perspective. 1. Altered state of consciousness. The most prevalent theory of hypnosis suggests that it induces an altered state of consciousness. This doesn't mean a person under hypnosis is unconscious. Rather, they're in a state of focused attention and heightened suggestibility. During hypnosis, there may be changes in brainwave patterns, with increased theta waves, which are associated with deep relaxation and early stages of sleep, and decreased alpha and beta waves, associated with wakefulness and active thinking. 2. Brain regions. Involved, hypnosis has been found to affect several areas of the brain, including the prefrontal cortex, anterior cingulate cortex, and the parietal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is involved in attention, self-awareness, and executive functions, and its activation may help explain the focus and suggestibility during hypnosis. The anterior cingulate cortex is involved in conflict detection and resolution, as well as cognitive control. Hypnotic suggestions may reduce activity in this area, which could lessen self-monitoring and increase receptivity to suggestions. The parietal cortex, which is involved in processing spatial awareness and body image, shows reduced activity during hypnosis, suggesting that alterations in body awareness may occur under hypnosis. The insula and the posterior cingulate cortex, parts of the brain linked to the control of attention and the processing of self-related thoughts, show changes in connectivity during hypnosis. 3. Hypnotizability and brain structure. Hypnotizability varies greatly among individuals, and some research suggests this may be due to differences in brain structure and function. Highly hypnotizable individuals may have greater white matter tract integrity in the anterior parts of the corpus callosum, a part of the brain that facilitates communication between the two hemispheres. 4. Pain perception. From a neurological standpoint, hypnosis can modulate the perception of pain. Hypnosis may affect the activity in areas of the brain involved in pain perception, including the somatosensory cortex, anterior cingulate cortex, and the insula. This alteration in brain activity can reduce the sensation of pain. 5. Modulation of autonomic nervous system. Hypnosis can also affect the autonomic nervous system, which controls automatic or unconscious processes like heart rate and digestion. This might explain why hypnosis can help with conditions like irritable bowel syndrome or help in the reduction of anxiety. 6. Neurochemical changes. Some researchers suggest that changes in neurochemicals such as endorphins and serotonin might be associated with hypnosis, contributing to the effects on mood, pain perception, and relaxation, although this area needs further research. While the neuroscience of hypnosis is complex and not yet fully understood, these insights suggest that hypnosis involves distinct changes in brain activity and function. It's also important to emphasize that more research is needed to fully understand how hypnosis works and how it can best be used therapeutically. Shifting states of consciousness. What actually happens when a person experiences an induction into altered states of consciousness through the process of hypnosis? The answer is actually very simple. As the person becomes more and more relaxed, the cycles of the brain begin to slow down, similar to falling asleep. These cycles are examined in waves. Brain waves, which can be measured by an electroencephalogram, EEG, represent the electrical activity of the brain. They are typically divided into 4 main types: beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Each of these types corresponds to a different state of consciousness and mental activity. Below is an explanation of what is taking place in the brain at each stage. Beta waves, 14 to 30 Hz. These are high-frequency, low-amplitude waves usually associated with a state of wakefulness, alertness, and active thinking. This is the state most people are in during the day when they're focused on the tasks at hand, problem-solving, or making decisions. Hypnosis generally involves transitioning out of this state to a more relaxed state. Alpha waves, 8 to 13 Hz. These are associated with a relaxed, calm, and alert state of mind, such as during meditation, or during the moments right before falling asleep, or just after waking up. This is also the state often targeted during the initial stages of hypnosis, as it's conducive to relaxation and suggestibility. Theta waves, 4 to 7 Hz. These waves are associated with deeper states of relaxation, including the early stages of sleep, deep meditation, and daydreaming. This state is often associated with creativity, intuition, and subconscious processing. Hypnosis often attempts to bring individuals into the theta state, as it's here that people are usually deeply relaxed and highly receptive to hypnotic suggestions. Delta waves, 1 to 3 Hz. Delta waves are the slowest and highest amplitude brain waves. They are usually associated with deep, dreamless sleep, and it's during this state that the body heals and regenerates. This state is not typically targeted during hypnosis, as it's a state of unconsciousness. During a hypnosis session, a person might shift among different brainwave states. The process usually starts in the beta state, then moves to the alpha state as the person relaxes and becomes receptive to suggestions. As the person becomes more deeply relaxed and focused, they might move into the theta state, where they're highly responsive to the hypnotic suggestions being made. The actual brainwave pattern during hypnosis can vary depending on the individual and the techniques used by the hypnotist. It's important to note that while these brainwave states can provide useful insights, they don't capture the full complexity of the brain's activity and human consciousness. The brain is a highly complex organ, and while certain brainwave states are generally associated with certain mental states, the relationship isn't always straightforward. Hypnosis and neurochemical balance in the brain. Hypnosis may have an impact on the neurochemical balance in the brain, influencing several neurotransmitters and hormones. While the precise neurochemical changes during hypnosis aren't fully understood yet and research is ongoing, the effects of hypnosis can involve the following substances. Endorphins. Endorphins are the body's natural painkillers. They're neurotransmitters that help to reduce pain and induce feelings of pleasure or euphoria. Hypnosis, particularly when used for pain management, may stimulate the release of endorphins. This can help to reduce pain perception, leading to physical comfort. Serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that's involved in many functions, including mood regulation, sleep, appetite, and pain perception. Hypnosis may influence serotonin levels, which could play a role in its effects on mood disorders and sleep issues. Dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation. It's not clear if hypnosis directly affects dopamine levels, but given that hypnosis can influence mood and behavior, it's possible that dopamine is involved. Norepinephrine. Also known as noradrenaline, norepinephrine is involved in the body's stress response. It's a neurotransmitter and a hormone that increases heart rate, blood pressure, and sugar level in the blood. Hypnosis may help to decrease the levels of norepinephrine, which could contribute to the relaxation response and reduction of stress and anxiety during hypnosis. Cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone released by the adrenal glands in response to stress. High levels of cortisol over a prolonged period can lead to various health problems, including sleep disturbances, weight gain, and a weakened immune system. By promoting a relaxation response and potentially reducing stress, hypnosis may help lower cortisol levels. Acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that plays a critical role in learning and memory. It's also a major player in the parasympathetic nervous system, where it helps to slow heart rate and stimulate digestion, among other functions. While it's not clear if hypnosis directly influences acetylcholine levels, it's possible given the neurotransmitter's role in attention and suggestibility. Key components of the hypnotic state. Oxytocin. Oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone, is released in response to physical touch and social connection, and it promotes feelings of trust, empathy, and bonding. While there's no direct evidence yet that hypnosis affects oxytocin levels, it's possible given the hormone's role in stress reduction and the deep relaxation that can occur during hypnosis. While these neurochemical changes could explain some of the effects of hypnosis, more research is needed to fully understand the role they play and how they interact with the other neurological changes that occur during hypnosis. Furthermore, it's important to note that these neurochemical changes should be seen as part of the broader physiological response to hypnosis, not isolated effects. States of consciousness and neurochemical release. Now here is where things get really interesting. The release of certain neurochemicals is indeed linked to specific states of consciousness, largely regulated by different brain waves. However, the neurochemical environment of the brain is complex and doesn't depend solely on the current state of consciousness, but also on other factors like the individual's overall health, stress levels, and more. Here's an approximate overview. Beta state, 14 to 30 Hz. During this active, alert state, neurotransmitters associated with wakefulness and alertness are typically present in higher levels. These include dopamine, which is involved in reward and motivation, norepinephrine, which promotes alertness and vigilance, and acetylcholine, which is involved in attention and memory. Alpha state, 8 to 13 Hz. As the brain moves into a more relaxed state, there may be increased levels of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that promotes feelings of well-being and relaxation. The alpha state is also associated with increased creativity, for which the neurotransmitter dopamine plays a key role. Theta state, 4 to 7 Hz. The theta state, often associated with deep relaxation, meditation, and the initial stages of sleep, may involve increased production of GABA, an inhibitory neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation and reduces anxiety. There may also be an increase in melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep, and endorphins, which naturally help control pain and induce feelings of pleasure or euphoria. Delta state, 0–1 to 3 Hz. The delta state of deep, dreamless sleep is crucial for the body's restorative processes. Growth hormone, which plays a key role in bodily repair and recovery, is typically released during this stage. The brain may also produce increased levels of adenosine, which promotes sleep and relaxation. It's important to note that our understanding of these processes is still evolving, and the relationship between brain waves, states of consciousness, and neurochemical release is complex and not fully understood. Many neurotransmitters are involved in multiple states of consciousness and have many different functions within the brain. Additionally, individual differences, including genetics, health status, and environmental factors, can influence neurochemical release. The relationship between hypnosis and the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, ANS, is a component of the peripheral nervous system that regulates involuntary physiological processes. It's divided into two main branches: the sympathetic nervous system, which prepares the body for fight or flight responses, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which supports rest and digest functions. The ANS controls a variety of functions across many body systems, including heart rate, blood pressure, breathing rate, body temperature, digestion, and more. During hypnosis, there seems to be a modulation of the ANS, although the precise mechanisms are not fully understood. Here's an in-depth look. 1. Relaxation response. One of the key responses seen in hypnosis is the relaxation response, which is associated with increased parasympathetic activity. This can lead to slower heart rate, lower blood pressure, slower breathing rate, and a general sense of calm and relaxation. Hypnotic suggestions often directly aim to induce this relaxation response. 2. Heart and blood vessels. Hypnosis can influence heart rate and blood pressure, likely due to changes in the ANS. Suggestions of relaxation can decrease sympathetic activity, which normally increases heart rate and blood pressure, and increase parasympathetic activity, which decreases heart rate and blood pressure, leading to an overall calming effect. 3. Respiratory system. Hypnosis can also impact the respiratory system, slowing the breathing rate, which is another effect of increased parasympathetic activity. This can be particularly beneficial for conditions like anxiety or panic disorders, where breathing can become quick and shallow. 4. Digestive system. The ANS plays a significant role in regulating digestion, with the parasympathetic system promoting digestion and the sympathetic system inhibiting it. By modulating ANS activity, hypnosis may help manage conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, which is thought to involve disruptions in the ANS. 5. Endocrine system. The ANS influences the release of stress hormones like cortisol from the adrenal glands. By promoting a relaxation response, hypnosis might help reduce cortisol levels, which can have wide-ranging positive effects on the body, including reducing inflammation and promoting immune function. 6. Immune system. The ANS also interacts with the immune system. Some research suggests that the stress reduction associated with hypnosis might positively influence immune system function, though more research is needed in this area. 7. Pain perception. The ANS contributes to the modulation of pain perception. Hypnosis may modulate the ANS's activity to help manage chronic and acute pain. It's important to remember that while we have some understanding of how hypnosis might interact with the ANS, this is a complex area, and research is ongoing. As always, hypnosis should be used under the guidance of a qualified healthcare provider, and it should be considered as part of a broader treatment plan. What may contribute to a person's increased hypnotizability? There have been a few indicators that speak to why some people possess a greater ability to be placed in an altered state of trance easily. The human mind is an intricate maze of thoughts, feelings, and memories orchestrated by the complex biology of our brains. Just as we have unique fingerprints, our brain structures and functions also have their distinct patterns. This individualized neural architecture can partially explain why some people are more receptive to hypnosis than others, a concept known as hypnotizability. Understanding the neurological basis of this phenomenon is key to leveraging hypnosis as a powerful tool for change. Hypnosis, a state of focused attention and increased suggestibility, is a potent tool used in therapeutic contexts. From managing pain to overcoming fears and changing harmful habits, its potential applications are as vast as they are impressive. However, the experience and effectiveness of hypnosis vary greatly among individuals, and scientists have been seeking to understand why. One key factor that research points to is a person's ability to become deeply absorbed in experiences. From a neurological perspective, this suggests a heightened capacity for attention and focus. The prefrontal cortex, a brain region associated with attention, and the anterior cingulate cortex, associated with focus and attention allocation, may play pivotal roles in absorption. Individuals with the ability to engage these brain regions intensely may be more capable of immersing themselves in the hypnotic experience. Dissociation, the ability to disconnect from the immediate physical environment and one's sense of self, is another trait associated with higher hypnotizability. Neurologically, this involves the functional connectivity between various brain regions. People who can easily enter a state of dissociation may show different patterns of connectivity, especially involving the default mode network, a network of brain regions active when the mind is in a restful state. People with a natural inclination towards openness to experience are also found to be more hypnotizable. This personality trait, defined by a broad interest in varied experiences and a willingness to explore new ideas, may be linked to the functioning of the brain's reward systems. Greater activation in regions such as the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, associated with reward evaluation, may encourage a positive response to the novel experience of hypnosis. Moreover, individuals who believe in the efficacy of hypnosis and expect positive outcomes are generally more hypnotizable. This phenomenon can be linked to the placebo effect, where belief in treatment results in perceived improvements. Neurologically, this involves various brain regions, including the anterior cingulate cortex and the prefrontal cortex, which are associated with expectation and belief systems. Lastly, fear or resistance can act as significant barriers to hypnosis. Neurologically, this fear response is orchestrated by the amygdala, the brain's alarm system. Individuals who can manage their fear response, thereby reducing amygdala activation, may be more open to hypnosis. Understanding the neurological foundations of hypnotizability does not take away from the mystique of hypnosis. On the contrary, it adds a layer of fascination, revealing the impressive complexity of our brains. As neuroscience continues to unravel the complexities of the mind, we edge closer to harnessing the full potential of techniques like hypnosis, opening up new avenues for healing and self-discovery. In the context of hypnotizability and neuroscience, we often refer to both gray matter and white matter in the brain, which have distinct functions. Gray matter. Gray matter primarily consists of neuron cell bodies and non-myelinated neurons. It is involved in various functions of the brain, including muscle control, sensory perceptions like seeing and hearing, memory, emotions, and speech. Gray matter also plays a key role in processing information in the brain. Studies have shown that the volume and density of gray matter can be associated with various cognitive abilities and states. However, in the context of hypnosis and hypnotizability, the role of gray matter is not yet fully understood. There have been some studies that suggest changes in the volume of gray matter in certain regions of the brain may be associated with hypnotizability, but more research is needed in this area. White matter. White matter is composed mostly of myelinated axons. These are nerve fibers, axons, covered by a fatty substance called myelin, which gives the white matter its characteristic color. The primary function of white matter is to transmit signals between different areas of gray matter within the nervous system. In other words, if gray matter is where information is processed, then white matter is the network that connects these processing centers. Hence, it plays a crucial role in ensuring effective communication within the brain. The concept of white matter tract integrity refers to the health and efficiency of these communication pathways. The integrity of these tracts can be measured using methods like diffusion tensor imaging, DTI, a type of MRI technique that visualizes the location, orientation, and anisotropy of the brain's white matter tracts. In the context of hypnosis, some research has shown that individuals who are highly susceptible to hypnosis have greater white matter tract integrity in certain areas of the brain, particularly the anterior corpus callosum. This part of the brain facilitates communication between the left and right hemispheres, which might be particularly important for experiencing hypnosis. Improved communication between the hemispheres might lead to greater integration of brain functions, possibly explaining why these individuals are more susceptible to the effects of hypnosis. However, it's important to stress that our understanding of the neurological underpinnings of hypnotizability is still evolving. While these findings are intriguing, more research is needed to fully understand how variations in gray matter and white matter might influence an individual's response to hypnosis.